Welcome, Bill, from Louisville. Bill, you were the guy with the 370 dancer, right? I think that was you from last week. I remember you from last week. I just don't remember if that was 100% if that was you. But let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me out there. Welcome, everybody, to another Sunday Q&A, live Q&A here. Introduce yourself. Let me know where you're listening in from, where you do your boating, what style of boating that you do, and let me know that you can hear me. Crown line, new crown line, gotcha. Red and white crown line, Bill. Perfect. Thanks for letting me know that you can hear me. Charleston, South Carolina. Brock, you were here. I don't know if you were here last week, but you've been in the comments. I recognize that name. Welcome. And I don't have anything scheduled to kind of talk about today. So if you just want to start firing away on questions, if you're listening out there, you've got some questions. Thanks, John, from Hot Springs, Arkansas. John, you were on last week, or seeing your name in the comments. Delonta Dawson was here early at even before we started. So I'm not sure if Delonta is still on, but thanks for joining. And John, thank you very much. John was asking questions about lifting strakes last week, if I remember right, if that was you. So go ahead and just fire away any questions. The most recent video that dropped, I don't have the slides up, but the most recent video that dropped, Welcome Ray Horn, was about the current market conditions, and kind of my take on what's going on with everything that's going on. The one thing that wasn't in, because I didn't see it till Lee Bell, thanks, appreciate that, from San Antonio, was the magnesium shortage. If you haven't heard about this, it's now, again, I've got the belief that the media likes to blow things out of proportion, because that's how they make their money. Is the more scandalous, the more sensational, the more doomsday they can make things, the more eyeballs they can get, the more clicks they can get. And I find myself guilty of it at times when I name some of my videos and some of my my things. I try to avoid it and be as real as possible. And yet the reality is, if you don't watch the videos, then I don't make any ad revenue. So I understand why they do it. But the magnesium shortage, and magnesium is used to make aluminum alloys. Now, I heard it in the context of a shortage that may be on the horizon in the auto industry, because the automotive grade aluminum, like the Ford F-150, uses a lot of magnesium, like 900 pounds of aluminum per 900 pounds of aluminum per new Ford F-150, and that takes a significant amount of magnesium. Magnesium comes mainly from China, where it is, the raw material is then put into a form that they can ship over here, and then we can make the aluminum here with, like, Alcoa is a big one. There was another one that I read in the article, and then some of the aluminum is processed and the alloys are made in China. And that's kind of the next big thing, is what's going to happen. So, if you're a pontoon person, it could affect you there. The Mercruiser has their aluminum block that they're casting, may have an issue there. But the kind of the consensus from what I heard, yeah, Ray, it's, I don't know, the consensus is, it's kind of like this whole supply chain thing, is the current supply is okay, but China shut down one of the factories. Now, they said they did it for environmental reasons they weren't able to meet the environmental standards. You know, who knows? But Bill, we'll get to your question here as soon as I finish these thoughts. Is as soon as you hear something from the Chinese, you know, there may be some questions of how real is it. They're saying we shut it down for the greenhouse emissions. They weren't able to meet those EPA or the whatever the global standards are for emissions, and that's why they had to shut it down. I guess it's a really dirty, nasty process. It's probably why it's done in China. So anyway, something to keep an eye on. I will be keeping an eye on it and see what happens. So we got our first question in here. If you're listening in, feel free to put a question in to the chat box. So cleaning products that are good, maybe a good wax. All right. So Bill has a fiberglass crown line, a beautiful looking boat. Probably the best wax on the market from people that are way more anal than me is McGuire's. It's MEGU something. It's a odd spelling, but McGuire's wax and compound is probably the best. Now, Bill lives in Louisville. So for him, and I don't know, Bill, if you keep your boat indoors or outdoors, if you keep your boat and it's fairly well protected from the sun and the elements, and the sun's going to cause oxidation if you just put it out there and you don't do anything. But in the Louisville climate, if you keep it where it's just not getting beat on the sun all day, you can probably get by with just buffing with the high-speed buffer, putting a coat of wax on once a year. The more you're out in the sun, the more you're in salt water, the more that your boat is unprotected 24 hours a day. The media hype got you, Ray. Yeah, the say it ain't so, the sky is falling mentality. And then I would start to say 2, maybe even 3 times a year to get that good solid coat of wax on. And what that does is it protects your gel coat, which is like it's a I don't know. It's a very thin. Each manufacturer has their own mills but a very thin layer. It's super duper hard, and it's super duper shiny. And the better you can keep it waxed, the less oxidation you'll have, the better it'll look, and the better it'll clean up for you as well. So that's what I would recommend on wax. As far as cleaner goes, I did a video on how to clean your boat, products not to use. So I'll give you outdoors but not covered. Okay, yeah. So this will apply. That one coat of wax, you should be good. In Louisville, if the sun is really beaten down on it throughout the day, you'll notice there'll be spots on the boat where it'll start to kind of fade a little bit more as you get close to that year end. Maybe a second coat then. But for cleaning, couple things to avoid. Anything abrasive when you're talking about the upholstery. What it does is anything abrasive is actually going to hit the threads. The threads on your upholstery are one of the weakest links in the upholstery. So if you're scrubbing with the brush, if you're scrubbing with the magic eraser, if you're scrubbing with Comet or some type of abrasive cleaning agent, it's going to wear out those threads quicker, and then those threads are going to split and the seams are going to come open. You'll see that on a lot of older boats. The threads are like this. You over time, the UV is hitting them, the sun's hitting them, the wear and tear, and then you use a brush or something abrasive on it, a magic eraser, they rip, and then you get that rip seam, which is really, really difficult to fix without reupholstering everything. Stay away from anything with alcohol in it. Something like Armor All, or some of the more common cleaners have alcohol in it. I met with Karen, I think was her name, at Ibex from Boat Bling, or Bling Sauce, I guess is the name of the company. And I really enjoyed the conversation with her. I'm hoping they've got a new product that she was talking about that they're rolling out here in the next couple of months. And but they test all of theirs with the three major vinyl manufacturers in the industry, and they will send them their formula and say, hey, do your independent testing, tell us if it's working, and tell us if you can recommend it as a cleaning product. So that is one that they do a great job. But I'm also, if you watch that video on what not to clean your boat, or how not to clean your boat, I don't remember what it was, but when I'm cleaning a boat, I'll take a bucket, hot water, and vinegar. So I'll put, I'm not a big ratio mixing to but maybe a 5-to-1 ratio, somewhere along those ballparks. I just eyeball it and dump that in with some warm hot water. I'll take it down and I'll wipe the seats off with that. If there's something really bad, then I'll get out the spray and I'll do it. And then you can use a protectant, a UV protectant, if your boat's going to be sitting uncovered. That's something that kind of replenishes it. But I don't remember what Boat Blings is. Or if you just clean it real good and keep it dry, that's the biggest thing, is to keep it clean and keep it dry. And then don't use anything abrasive, and that will put you in really, really good shape for 20 years on that boat, and it'll still be nice and soft and supple. And then every now and again, maybe once a year, use some type of a conditioner on it, a marine grade conditioner that will kind of keep it nice and supple, nice and soft, and you should be in good shape. All right, so Florida says they can unload all the ships. We need the guys on the top to get the National Guard to move in and get her done. All right, there. Oh shit, what's his name? Larry the Cable Guy. He's a Husker like I am. So, but yeah, I think there's solutions to a lot of the shipping problems. You start getting bureaucracy involved, and big companies and big governments, and hopefully they can get that done, but we just have to change to make sure that we're getting that done. For older projects, boat will continue to rise. I think so, Kevin. I really do. If you look at, I don't know why my screen keeps moving, or I keep sinking or something, but yeah, in my opinion, and I'm by no means have any inside information. This is just kind of looking at the numbers, seeing what the dealer inventory looks like. If the demand stays the same or even drops down to normal levels, we still have another year of boat production to meet normal dealer inventory levels for normal demand time. So that's a year out. If we continue having this demand, every month of this demand pushes that year to get dealer inventory levels to a normal level. It keeps pushing it out. So my gut tells me 18, 24 months is what we'll see there. So what that means is, if I can't get a new boat, well, then I'll go used. Well, now that pushes the used boat prices up. So the guy that was going to buy a $50,000 used new boat buys a $50,000 used boat. The guy that was going to buy a $40,000 boat now has to get used because of news out of his price range. The guy that was going to buy a $30,000 boat, now that's 40. It trickles on down the line. And so the boat that needs $10,000 worth of work for somebody that likes to do project boat all of a sudden says, oh, I can buy this boat over here, and I can recondition it, I can refurbish it, I can rebuild it completely, and I can do a little project boat, I can flip it, I can make some money, or I can just keep it and run it. And I think we're going to see that. Matter of fact, on Thursday, I am interviewing Chip. Chip is from South Carolina, from Charleston, I believe, and he does project boats. He does some on-water training. I think he's a licensed captain, and he's been a frequent commenter on different videos that I've got. And I was like, hey, you should come on the podcast and let's talk about project boats, something I don't know a whole lot about. I know enough to kind of, hey, this is an issue, but I don't know enough to say, well, let's dig in and fix it together. So I wanted to talk to him to share some of his expertise because he has done a lot of projects on center consoles. He sent me a list of the manufacturers that he's done. So I'm looking forward to that conversation, and I hopefully it'll be timely. John, like you said, that's exactly why you got the older boat is, hey, it's prices are here for the condition that I wanted in, but I've got the skills, the ability, the facilities, the tools, the desire to a project boat. I can maybe buy this boat for 5 grand or 10 grand or, $100, or somebody's going to give it to me because it's a pain in their butt. I can redo it. I can put a motor on it, and I can rework that motor. And now I've got a $50,000 boat that I put $30,000 into. I can either run it and enjoy it, or I can run it for a season, flip it, and buy another one if the condition's still going. So yeah, I think for at least a year, probably 18 to 24 months, that's what we're going to see. And again, that year and a half mark has been what I've been saying for the last year. So, with my prediction, with rights to adjust it. So, yeah, John, I would love to see it. It's captain at boatbuyerssecretweapon.com is the email address. So captain at boatbuyerssecretweapon, or you can on the Boat Buyer Secret Weapon Facebook page. You can put them up there. Would love to see what you've done, because I think you said you had a pontoon with a 250. If I'm right on that. Where are you at here? Hot Springs picked up. Okay, so another one. So yeah, an '08 25-foot Bennington with a 250. I don't know what the condition was, but 5 years ago, that boat was maybe selling for 35, 40,000, maybe a little bit more if it's got a trailer or whatever. But now I don't know what the heck that thing would sell for. If it's in good condition. And that was 5 years ago, maybe a little bit less. But yeah, I think there's some great opportunity out there if you have that desire and those skills. Success with mineral spirits for cleaning. Mink oil. Interesting. I've never heard mink oil before. But yeah, the mineral spirits, I have heard that one. I haven't tried it. But sorry, I had my little space heater on. My wife loves to keep it freezing cold at night. And she also wasn't very happy about the picture that I put in the newsletter of her peeing off the back of the boat. I'm not sure how much of it was just fake anger, how much of it was really not happy with it. So I'll have to do a apology in next week's or next month's newsletter. All right. So we got any other questions out there? Ray, I have a new boat. Dealer stores it indoors, living in northern Indiana. Question is indoor versus outdoor and shrink wrap. If you're indoor, is it yeah, if it's dusty in their building, I would go with the shrink wrap. If it's a really dusty area, it gives it more protection. It'll make it easier for you to pull it out. But if you're indoors, I don't think it's necessary. The reason I like shrink wrap for a boat that's outdoors is because you can build up your frame, and any snow and ice is just going to roll off it. Any water, it's not going to pool and stretch out your tarp and potentially tear it and ruin it. But if it's a dusty area, like let's say, you said it's a dealer stores it indoors. So, but if you were storing it, let's say a dusty old barn, just an outbuilding that you had, yeah, then I would maybe start thinking about shrink wrapping. But if you're paying the extra to keep it inside, I don't think I would mess with that extra expense, unless there was some specific reason. What I would do is talk to that dealer and make sure they've got some sort of rodent protection that they have in that building, because especially if it's heated, the field mice are going to come rolling in there, and I've seen it happen, and it's a mess when you get a critter in your boat. So just make sure that they're doing something there to protect it, but I don't think you need to invest that extra in shrink wrap. Pretty quiet this week. Last week we started out gangbusters. Um, see if I missed anything with questions right off the bat, but so I didn't even prepare anything this week to talk about really. Uh, hey, Mike from Mike. I think I've seen Mike in the comments. I don't remember if you were on last week or if that's where I saw you from, but um, feel free to throw in another question if you got it. Give you Kevin's suggestion on cleaning. I'll have to look into that mink oil to replenish the vinyl. That I wonder if that's one of the ingredients in the product type. What is this that I got? Yeah, this was another product at when I was down at Ibex. This is for cleaning plastic, isinglass, and different plastics on your boat. They gave me a little sample. I haven't had a chance to test it on anything. Clean shines, remove fine scratches, and removes heavy scratches. So it's kind of a three-part system. So yeah, let me give that to you. Captain at John, there you go. That's the email address for you. All right, so let me go to the next. Transom tie downs for center consoles. You throw a ratchet strap all the way across, use the D rings. Either way, Brock, but use them. Use those transom straps. What I really like are the boat buckles. I like it just because it's easy. You mount them to the back of the trailer. They just pull right up. You clip them on your transom tie down, or D ring, I think is what you're calling it, on the back of that little eye. You hook it on there. You give it a couple of clicks, get it nice and tight, and you're good. When you're ready, you just flip a little lever, it releases it, boom, you unhook it, and it just slides right back down in and just hangs there off the back of your trailer when the boat's not on it. Super easy. But if it's a good heavy duty, just you're going to go over the whole thing, and if you've got hooks on the side of your trailer, that's totally fine. What you're doing is you're just taking the load from the you're strapping that load tight down on the bunks, and it's especially important with, I think you've got a centered console if I remember right, Brock. Oh yeah, you said it right there. Is now when those bunks are wet, if you stop short, for whatever reason, or that it's slick, right? It's you slid it right up on there and you just winched it on. It's slick when they're wet. And by tying it down, you make that friction much more aggressive. The back ones, you actually get some pull back a little bit. But yes, absolutely use them. And it doesn't matter. Either one is going to be fine. Either one's going to be fine, but I really like those boat buckles. I think they're 40 or $50. They're not expensive at all. And they are, if something weird happens, you'll certainly be glad you did. Some dealers in Minnesota have pictures on website, but when you go, nothing on site. No answer why. So, Mike, are you saying that they have, it looks like they have inventory on their website, but when you actually go to the dealership, they don't have anything? If that's what you're asking, I'm gonna assume that's what you're asking. Yeah, Brock, you're totally fine. Okay, perfect. Brock, you're totally fine using those same thing you've got on your bass boat. For sure, you're okay there. All right, so here's what they're doing is they have no inventory in their stores, but they're still trying to generate leads for the boats that they have coming in. If you don't have any inventory on your website, like it's like 80% of the leads for a dealership come from online. The other group comes from boat shows or from just walk-ins, but almost everybody goes to the website first. If you don't have any inventory on your website, the walk-ins aren't going to happen. Boat shows, they weren't available last year. They're struggling to find inventory for their boat shows, even going to consumers to borrow their boat for the boat show this year. So what they do is they'll leave their inventory on their website to generate leads. Part of it is that. Part of it is just, hey, boats are moving so fast that they can't keep up. It's a pain in the butt the way most of the dealership websites work to take it down and to mark that boat as sold, and you've got to manually go in and get it. Sometimes you got to go into several different places to get it. And it's if they're not quick about it, it's because it's still generating leads for them. So the best thing to do is if you see something, just call them or fill out the form and just say, hey, is this boat still available? I'd like to come look at it Tuesday at 5 o'clock or whatever. And see if you can't. But probably this time of year or this time, with the demand we're having, is I would just pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, Bob, I was looking at this 2022 or this used whatever. Is it still available? Tell me about it. Ask your questions. If you're interested, hey, can I put a deposit on that so I can come look at it tomorrow morning? And that would be the best course of action as a serious buyer. If you're just in the shopping mode still, it's always happened, and it's even more exacerbated now because it's their only source of leads really, is online. What do you think about stainless steel versus for a bow rider? It depends. Tell me what you have, what make and model, what engine you have, and what kind of loads that you run. And I can give you a more specific answer that's tailored. I've got a video on prop stainless versus aluminum. I think I've got that one, but I know it's in my another prop video that I did. For some, if you're running smaller horsepower, aluminum. Stainless steel has less flex. So for performance, stainless steel is better. For, hey, I run in a place where it can get shallow, and if you hit something, stainless steel is going to hold firm and it's going to hit, and it could potentially damage your prop or your prop hub and bend your prop shaft. Aluminum is soft, so if you hit something, that prop is going to give and protect your prop shaft from getting bent. So there's a balance between where do I run. What the more horsepower you run, the more I'm going to lean towards stainless steel. The heavier the boat is, the more I'm going to lean towards stainless steel. But the more you run in tough conditions that are going to, get shallow, and you're going to get in the rocks, you're going to hit some stumps. Now, for protection's sake, I'm going to give up a little bit of performance and run an aluminum. So it's very all right. So 4.3. Run the river. Yeah, so it depends on that river. If I'm in a river that's probably got some crap in it, I'm probably going to run my aluminum on that 4.3. You got an alpha drive, so yeah, I would probably stick with the aluminum on that. And just the sheer if man, you're going to hit something in the river at some point, I would assume, in most rivers. We used to run in the Missouri River in Nebraska. When we ran our smaller boat with the 4.3 Mercruiser, it was what was it, 89 Thompson. We ran aluminum. When we moved up to the 350 mag that had the Bravo 3, then you move to a stainless steel because of the more torque and the dual prop. So thank you, John. I'll look for those. I have a new South Bay, sits outside a lot. What UV protection products should I use for the vinyl, plastics, and flooring? First thing is you should cover it, Steve. 100% every time, unless it's soaking wet, cover it. That's the number one thing that you need to do is have a canvas cover. put the poles in. I know it's a pain in the ass. I did a video specifically because I know it's a pain in the ass. When I sold boats, if I uncovered a boat, we had yard guys that were supposed to cover them up, but I would recover most of my boats, and I would buy pizzas for the guys if they would cover them for me when I didn't have the time, because it's awful. It's even I'm super good at it now. I'm really good at it. I've got a system. I share it for you on the video. Just look for it on the channel. But cover it's number one, and cover it religiously unless it's soaking wet. Then next, I don't have a product that I would recommend. The boat bling, the boat sauce products are probably as good as any. And again, just make sure it doesn't have alcohol in it, and that it's for the marine vinyl and not just a leather reconditioner, a leather protectant. Some of the products that I've found that have the UV protection in it have a lot of alcohol in it. So it's like, yeah, you're protecting it from the UV, but alcohol is going to dry it out, and it's no good. So um, that would be my recommendation there. I've got a plan in my head to buy a pontoon seat, set it outside in my backyard, and get a several different products and clean them and protect them, and just see how they work. Spray some sunscreen on it. I haven't done that yet, but maybe this summer it'll be. I don't know how happy my wife will be about having a pontoon seat sitting outside, but I want to do that on just a section of upholstery, and just do some tests so I can share those results. So Steve, that's I'm gonna star that one and see if I can't make that happen. Um, all right. Yeah, Brock, you need to be washing your trailer down with fresh water anyway. Um, Sorry, I missed that when I saw your comment earlier. You need to be washing your trailer down with fresh water, especially the hubs and the axle. That will over time will rust out. Just spray it down real good. Just spray those buckles. Maybe as you're unhook them, pull them out a little bit, spray it down, let them go back in, and you're gonna be in good shape. Um, Okay. 303, Kevin. I have used 303 products before, and they've always been pretty good. Works well for vinyl plastics. Lots of wax. Yeah, on the gel coat for sure. Um, Yes, Mike Northwood's shed. Absolutely, pressure washing a pontoon is totally fine. If you've got growth on it, and if you can take it out wet, spray the like a Tune Bright kind of product on it, or the what's the oh shoot, why am I forgetting it? There's a pontoon cleaning product. Um, is it Tune Bright? Anyway, there's a product that you can spray, and if you do it while it's wet, pull it right out and just hit it right away. You can clean that off, and yeah, that aluminum is going to be strong enough to take it. Don't use it on upholstery, and I would on the top side of the boat. I would keep that pressure washer away for sure. But on the bottom, on the tunes itself, you're going to be fine. Pay attention as you're spraying that if you have any wiring harnesses, wiring connectors under the boat, if you're kind of shooting at an angle that's up a little bit, just be careful that you don't shoot it right at that and tear something out or disconnect something from your wiring harnesses. It can be something that you catch it while you're on the water, and now it's really tough to get to. But you're totally fine doing that. All right. Brian, officially start the waiting game for a new boat to be built mid-February. Time for the ice to melt. That's awesome. Brian, were you in Iowa? Were you the guy from Iowa last week that was talking about what was it, your friends? I think you planned to boat with some of your best friends. And I think we talked, yeah, okay, perfect. We talked about deck boats. I don't know why I can remember some of these conversations and recognize names. And my wife asked me to do something. I forgot that right away. All right. Keep the questions coming. Keep the question. Any tips for formalizing oneself on a new, familiarizing, work on my reading to avoid bad days? A boat could be damaged. Norbert, tell me what lake you're on. Yes, there's certainly some things that you can do. One is you can get a map. Let me, oh crap, I'm not gonna be able to get it. I've got there's maps, and I'd have to dig through some stuff to find it, but they'll show you the depths. If it's a bigger lake, you'll be able to find one of these. You can also, if you have some electronics like a low rance or something like that, you can oftentimes get the chip for that lake if it's big enough and it's been mapped. Or you can just hop in your boat one day, take a day by yourself where you're just going to cruise and just explore the lake. So it's if I'm in an area of a lake that I can just, it looks sketchy. And you can tell, looking at your depth finder, if you have one, looking over the side of the boat, reading the water, looking for obstructions, seeing where boat traffic are, looking for markers, things like that. You'll be able to figure out pretty quickly where the danger areas are, at the boat ramp, at the gas dock, at the marina. Just talk to some folks. I mean, here's the thing that you'll find, Norbert, if you're new to boating, if you've been a boater for a while and just new to this lake, you'll know boaters are some of the friendliest people. We've all got this passion in common. We all love the water. And just say, "Hey, I'm Norbert. I'm new to this lake. Can I offer you a soda? Can I get you a beer? Here's a chicken wing. What can you tell me about this lake? I'm new to it. Any danger areas? Anything I need to be aware of? If there's a bar or a restaurant on the boat, that same thing. Just strike up conversations with boaters. Look for the maps. Look for uh, electronics. Those will a lot of times be mapped. If you don't have a depth finder and it's a shallower lake, hey, get a depth finder installed for, if you can do it yourself, depending on your type of boat, you can probably do it for a couple $100. I think the depth finder and transducer itself is probably less than 200. If it's going to be installed, depending on the boat, it's going to be around 500-600, depending where you're located. But I think that's money well spent if it's a lake that can be shallow at times. And then just, at worst case is, hey, take the boat out on a Tuesday afternoon this fall and just go for a nice quiet cruise and just go explore the lake, find out. And you'll be able to find them yourself, and just go nice and slow. Keep your hand on that trim and raise your motor up if you need to. Keep my boat covered. It's growing algae in the carpet, mold stained in the vinyl. Okay, so yeah, once you get it started, it's real tough, especially in the carpet. The key is to keep it clean and dry. Mold and mildew, they thrive on dark, wet, dirt. Those are the three things that mold and mildew need to survive. So, get aggressive initially to try to get it cleaned up as much as possible, because once they get started, they're tough to get off. So if you've got to get a little brush, that, and be very careful of those seams, like we talked about. Abrasiveness in those seams are a bad situation. um, you know get on it and try to get it nice and clean. And then the key from there is to keep it dry and clean as much as possible. So if you get caught in a rainstorm, don't just put the cover on, put the boat away wet for 3 weeks, or even 3 days. Put the cover on, and then open it up, or open the gates at a minimum, and let the sun hit it. Put it in a spot where the sun can really get to it. If you're in that environment, if you're at the marina, Get yourself a fan, a solar powered fan, or some kind of battery powered fan that you can open up a couple of gates and turn that fan on and get some airflow through. Before you finish up every outing, take your beach towels and just dry everything down on the seats, open them up, and dry in between the creek cracks and the crevices and all that. And then you start stepping up to, all right, now what cleaners can we use here? And, stay away from like, well, what is it? The mildew, the like bathroom mildew cleaners. Try to stay away from that stuff as much as possible. If you really like, man, it's really bad. You can use a super, 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 super light bleach and water solution, and that bleach will kill it, but you got to be real careful with that. Um, let's see here. I just saw a comment come in. 303. Yeah. See, if it's Kevin, if it's really, really bad, you make your own bleach solution and dilute it a ton. But just get a little bit of that. And again, it's a one-time thing to resolve the issue, not an ongoing thing. And again, if it's really, really bad, but you gotta be real, real careful if you're in that situation. Um, You're welcome, Norbert. Let's see here. Edgewater SPI process, brand worth the premium. All right, so I did. Um, okay, I think. I'm not even going to try to say that that screen name, but I think we got it. If there's another question in there, let me know. Kevin, it seems like you've got a pretty good handle on cleaning stuff. If you have any other thoughts, throw them in. Throw them in the comments as well. Okay, so Edgewater. Whaler and Edgewater, when I went to visit the Whaler factory back in probably 2010, they've got a similar production process to Edgewater because of there's some crossover, and some personnel and some leadership, and their factories are a stone's throw from each other. You turn into one drive, you're in Edgewater, you're turning into another, you're in Whaler. So they're built very close by. There's probably been a lot of cross pollination of employees over the years. I'm not 100. I haven't seen the SPI process, but it's that same essential build as as Whaler. And my opinion is, I haven't priced them out. It's a hell of a well-built boat. I don't know what the pricing looks like specifically, but I can tell you, for the solidness of the ride, the quality of the construction, it's in that top tier, for sure. But it's, you know, worth the premium. Is sort of, is it worth it to you? How are you going to use the boat? Where are you going to use the boat? Is any little rattle gonna drive you crazy? Do you buy the best of the best? Then it is for you. If you're like, well, if I can save 20 grand and I'm barely gonna notice it in the ride quality, um, maybe I can go down to a mid tier. So I think there's some personal preference in there. For me, I am not a luxury premium buyer. I'm a middle of the road buyer. That's, I'm cheap with money. That's just the way I am. I think I've talked about this on other videos. My father-in-law is I buy the best in, and I've talked to him about this. He's like, hey, in certain things, I don't skimp. There's some things where it's okay, but the things that I enjoy, I'm going to buy the premium because I don't want to mess with anything negative. So when he bought a boat, he bought a Cobalt. For me, I think Cobalts are awesome. It's a fantastic boat. But I'd be like, hey, for my money, I can have just as much fun on a value or a mid tier. I wouldn't go value for me personally, but that mid tier is I would be perfectly happy in that level, and that's kind of where I tend to buy. So it's somewhat of a personal preference, but yes, build wise, it's fantastic. Um, in my inspections of them and what I know about them. I didn't tour that factory though. We didn't carry Edgewater. Does the warranty start on delivery when you take delivery? Guessing it's going to direct dealers. Okay, so it is you take when you make final payment for the boat and you sign the paperwork, that's the date that they will start the warranty. So what happens is Hux is they will, and thank you for all your comments on the videos as well, Hux 2012. I appreciate you guys all participating in the comment section, asking questions, giving your feedback. It is always appreciated to get other opinions and questions, so I kind of get a sense for what type of content to make for you guys. But what will happen is they get the boat from the manufacturer. They do their pre-delivery inspection when they've got a buyer. They fill out this little paperwork that says, hey, we did all the stuff we were supposed to do. That will go into the file. It's a checklist that the technicians do. Yep, this was good. This was good. And that's going to be the start of the warranty. When the boat gets delivered, that file will go through their process of we'll pay off the floor plan financing. And so it's off that. It's got to be done right away. And then we will turn in the warranty stuff. That can be done within a period of time. But it'll date back to the date that you signed the contract and made final payment. That will be the date that the warranty goes into play. For the engine, the boat, the trailer, whoever you've got a warranty that they need to file with, and there's different ones for all three of those, but that's how it will work. Technique to bring back oxidized. Okay, so it's just Wayne, get a compound and a high speed buffer, and you're gonna do a layer of compound. Be cautious that you don't stay on one spot too long. Always be moving. And that first layer of oxidation, it's unless it's super bad, that should work. If you need to go and do a full wet sand, and I mean if it's awful, but for most things, if you spend some time with the little elbow grease with some compound in a high speed buffer, you're going to be able to get that oxidation off, and then wax it good, get that protection coating back on it, and that should bring it back. And depending on the brand of boat that you had, the quality of gel coat, I've seen some nasty boats in the mid-tier to premium level. The fiberglass, you're like, that thing is never coming back, and a couple hours later it's looking fantastic. So you might have to do a couple passes on it, but that it's that simple of just some time and elbow grease, and you can bring it back. Norbert, you're very welcome. Let's see. Okay. Middle of the road pontoon. So Mike, if you go watch, I went to the Greenville, South Carolina boat show, which is a freshwater boat show, and I inspected every pontoon that they had. And you can go, I give you a full rundown on there. What you'll notice is that some of the premium brands have mid-tier models. So I'll talk Harris because that's what I sold. Harris has their Grand Mariner, their Crown, their Grand Mariner, their Solstice, their Sunliner, and then they got a cruise category. Well, that cruise is built slightly different. To my mind, it takes it from the premium, those other brands, puts that Harris cruise in the mid-tier category. Same thing with Bennington. Bennington's got the same thing. Their Q and their R are in that premium level, and then they build an S and an SX. I put that in the middle of the road category, that mid tier. Barletta, one of the best built pontoons in my mind. They're the top of the line in just the way they do things, but they also have three levels, and their bottom level, I put in that mid tier. Other ones I would put in there, Godfrey Sweetwater line, I would probably put in there. There's a whole bunch. Most of the pontoons built are in that mid tier. And but go, Mike, go check out that video. It's, oh shoot, it's like 30 or 40 minutes long. And I show pictures, talking about welds, talking about upholstery, layouts. They all pretty much offer the same exact layouts. And it's just a matter of the build construction. And then my most important thing, if you're buying new, and Mike, I don't know if you're buying new or not, is the dealer. Don't overlook the importance of that dealer relationship, the dealer service department, the service riders, the technicians that are going to be working on that boat after the salesperson has made his commission or her commission and moved on to the next sale. So for me, I'm going to say, hey, find the boat that you love, find the category that fits your budget and the layout that you like, narrow it down to the top couple, two, three, four brands and models that you like, and then figure out which dealer you like best. Go talk to not the salesperson only, but talk to the general manager or the owner. Talk to the service writer, the person that you're going to deal with to schedule service. And if you can, talk to a technician, the parts person in service that you're going to interact with for the next 5-10 years when you own that boat. Because that salesperson is going to move on. If they're good, they're going to be there to help you, but they make their money by selling the next boat, the next boat, the next boat. And at a certain point, they're going to say, hey, talk to Alan in service, talk to Karen in service, talk to Brenda in service. And that's where your relationship's going to be long term. If you have warranty issues, that's where you're going to go first. And the only time you're going to go back to the salesperson is if they're not taking care of you. So hopefully, if you find those right brands in the right tier, the right budget, the right floor plans, the right layouts that you like, because frankly, I inspected a bunch of boats that day, and they were built very, 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 very similar. So check that video out. I think that will be helpful for you. But those are a couple. Tom, did I answer a question for you? Oh, Edgewater. Okay, good. Kevin, thank you for that. That was in the cleaning conversation. Do you think it's worth to ceramic coat? You know, I don't know. I have not ceramic coated anything. I don't have any experience with it. If you look on, Bill, I'll get to you here. Wayne, yep, Wayne, you're on the right path for sure. I don't know. Jury is out for me on ceramic coating. If anybody listening has ceramic coated their boat, let me know. But I don't know anybody that has. So I can't say. My gut tells me if it's done well, that's what I do here is it needs to be done right. The prep needs to be like almost anything along those lines. The prep, if it's done right, can make it long lasting, and durable, but I don't have any direct experience. So I will, I'll try to dig into that a little bit, because I don't have much to add there. Yeah. So, Bill, like I was saying, sometimes the subscribers have better experience than me. This is Wayne's right on the money. Get a hair dryer, warm it up, get that adhesive. They'll come right off. You can peel them right off once that adhesive has kind of gooped up, and then get some Goop Be Gone, clean that off, and get it nice and clean before you put your new letters on. Yeah, if you look, I need to do a better job on my playlists. It's something that I'm not good at detail like that. I need to um, get some help organizing that. Yeah, Brock, have you had good experience on your truck and your SUV? I assume if you're even thinking about it, you have. But yeah, I don't know. I would go on to Boat Owners United on Facebook. It's a very active group. Or Brock, go to the whole truth, HULL truth, thewholetruth.com. It's mostly saltwater boaters, but it's kind of a forum for boaters. And if you put that in there, I bet you'll get a lot of opinions. For me, I always like to try to limit my I'll listen to all opinions, but I really listen to people that have experience with a product or something. I find that you'll get better information and less just, oh, I heard this, I heard that. And I think that's 3 years now, still looking amazing. The truck's 6 months. Yeah, so it's I would put it out there. I would put it out there on Boat Owners United or the Whole Truth, or hell, even Brock. I think you said you were in Charleston. Put it in one of the Charleston boating groups, because, like I said, I think I think it's the prep and the application has a big impact on it. And I think if you find the right person to do it, that that could be valuable as well. If you've had a good experience with your vehicles, I don't know how much different, if at all, it is applying it to fiberglass versus applying it to metal and paint. So, all right, guys, we're coming up on an hour here. I would be happy to stick around and keep answering anything while I am waiting for anything else to come in. I'm going to do my shameless plugs. I give us a ton of value away for free with the YouTube channel, and the videos and this Q&A section. But I do, if you are looking for a little bit more hand holding, a little bit more detail, First Time Boat Buyers Academy. You can check that out at boatbuyerssecretweapon.com/academy. If anybody out there has gone through this program, just put in a comment about your experience. And then if you're a current boat owner, the best pontoon captain on the lake and the best boat captain on the water training, where I'll actually show you how to operate your boat safely. As a salesperson, I trained probably over 200 people on pontoons, center consoles, jet boats, twin engines, bow riders, deck boats, about anything you could think of, up to I think 38 was the biggest boat that I personally trained people on. And so I put that into a program. They're all very affordable, and they all got a money back guarantee. So if you want to support the channel even more, if you've got a ton of value, those programs are fantastic, and I appreciate everybody that has invested in them. But again, if there's any other questions or any other comments out there, I'll stick around for a little bit longer. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. Yeah, Bill, in the first time, um, get on there. The First Time Boat Buyers Academy, I walked through in 7 steps. Wayne, you're very welcome. 7 steps to the buying process, starting with, hey, we should buy a boat, looking at budgeting, what should we do, the types of boats that are right for what. But step 5 is a negotiation step, and Bill saved a decent chunk. I think it was like $1,500 on his crown line that he bought, I believe, from a private seller. And so you'll make money on that program with the that negotiation step, plus all the other value that you'll get from it. And yeah, 1,500. So yeah, so it's well worth it. And I am obviously biased, but but they're super good programs. Any other questions besides me hawking my stuff? Which I am trying to make this into a business, and that can sustain. And so there'll be some promotion. It just comes with the free value that I give, And if you want to take advantage of them, I would really appreciate it. And like I said, I always give my money back guarantee because it's just the way I operate. So, all right, guys, I think unless something else comes in here in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. I appreciate it. Everybody have a great week. Remember, life truly is better on a boat. Keep watching. Uh-oh. We did what ceramic coating delivered late 2019 to this day. The gel coat looks like new. Worth it if your boat's going to sit in the sun for a long period of time. Big Boat Ben, I assume you're a broker or a dealer, are selling. Where do you sell boats? Or maybe it says big. Oh, Big Boat Ben is that image. But yeah, I'll have to ask around. Um, Bill, thank you very much for the support. John, I will check my email for those pictures. And I look forward to seeing what you've done, what you started with, and what you've done for sure. Yeah, there's a little dollar sign on the bottom that you can click if you want to make a financial contribution just for these Q&As. It's by no means necessary, but it is very much appreciated when they come in. And I have really enjoyed these. It's fun to see some of the same names pop up over and over. And like Bill's been on a couple of times. He sent me the email of the picture of his crown line when he bought that, maybe a month or two ago. And John Driscoll's been on several times. I've seen his name. Brock has been in the comments and been on the last couple. So it's fun to see you guys over and over. And again, I always appreciate the support. So, all right, looks like that's it. So we're going to wrap it up. Thank you for the support. Thank you for anybody that has invested in any of my programs. And even a thumbs up on a video and a, thumbs up on the video, a comment on the video, a share on a video on social media is appreciated. One of the revenue streams besides my programs that are awesome is just YouTube pays me a small percentage of the ads that they run on the channel. The ads that I know annoy you, they annoy me when I'm watching other people, but it does allow me to put some extra time in this and my wife not be upset that I'm doing that. Brock, let's see. Thank you, Big Boat Ben. Lean towards doing it once my boat arrives. Done the homework. Apply prep fiberglass versus just paint and metal. Yeah. So, Big Boat Ben, if you want to throw any last comments in there, I'm gonna sign off, but I'm gonna leave this running so that you guys will, as I do a few things to close out, I'll put your comments up so you can see them, or I don't know if you can see them in the YouTube comments or not. When I